Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this technology and career orientation session, which is hosted by IPSR Solutions Limited. We welcome everybody who has joined for this session, uh, all the students, faculties, and my colleagues at IPSR, especially the dignitaries today who have joined. Our resource person, Mr. Srinivas Prasad, who will be doing the presentation for this session, and also Mr. Mendes Jacob, who is the CEO of IPSR, and St. John, who is the Linux team lead of IPSR. Before we get on with the presentation, I would like to give you a short description of Mr. Srinivas Prasad's profile. Mr. Srinivas Prasad is a highly accomplished professional with over 20 plus years of hands-on experience in planning, designing, and implementation of clouds, cybersecurity, data center, big data, blockchain, and IoT projects. He has a rich IT experience, having served as solutions architect, project manager, technical consultant, IT manager with Accenture, IBM, HCL, and iGate. He is also the corporate trainer for HP, Cisco, Genpact, Standard Chartered, HCL, iGate, TCS, GMR, Oman Air, IBM, Capgemini, etc. for cloud, cybersecurity, blockchain, and IoT. Also, he is acting as an advisor for different universities. This is a short description of his profile. Now, over to you, sir.
So today, our objective is what are all the career options are there under IT. So which one we need to select? And reason for that. I mean, why should we select that particular thing? Then, what are the things we need to learn? And what is the scope if you learn those things? And what are the challenges in the industry? Okay. So we'll have discussion on this, then we'll get into the AWS environment, that is a cloud provider. Okay. So I'll give some kind of insight or overview on AWS with some practicals. Okay. So finally, we can get into question and answer sessions. Okay. So in between also, if you have any kind of questions, you can ask. No issue. It's fine. Fine. So as Mr. Jayman introduced me, so yeah, I have 20 plus years of experience in the different domains like cloud, cyber security, big data, etc. And I worked for Accenture, IBM, HCL, and iGate. Now, I'm a regular corporate trainer for all these companies like HP, Cisco, Zenpact, Standard Chart, etc. And I'm delivered all these technologies, right from blockchain, IoT, Six Sigma, and all. Apart from this, I am a member of NASCAM. It's a quasi-government organization which is acting as the bridge between the IT industry and the government. This is one way, IT industry and academic institutions also. Academic institutions. So because I'm having a good rapport with the industry and the organizations like NASCAM and all, I am very much aware about the developments in the industry. What is happening now? What is going to happen in the near future? Okay. So what are the challenges industry is facing? So in this particular context, I hope all of you are aspiring for the job. Almost 75 candidates are there. Okay. So the main thing is which technologies having the good scope in a long term, not in a short term, in a long term. Okay. So anyhow, because all of you are youngsters, you have to think in a long term manner, right? Not in a short term. Right. Now, when we talk about this, which technologies are having the good scope, obviously there is ample scope for digital technology. We can call them as the disruptive technology. Okay. So what are the things comes under the digital technologies? If you talk about cloud comes under that. IoT comes under digital technology, cyber security, analytics, sorry, we can put it in some other way, that is AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning, blockchain, full stack, like augmented reality, something like that. Okay. So what's the reason why the importance of this digital technology is growing day by day? The reason is every industry is willing to adopt automation into their normal operations. Okay. So they want to automate everything as much as possible. Whether it could be auto industry, manufacturing, finance, services, logistics, healthcare. They want to adopt this particular automation. Automation in the sense, the place of a human being, the machine will take care of everything. Okay. There are some reasons. They want to cut down the cost. Because it's one-time investment. Okay. They want to improve the efficiency. They want to improve the efficiency. Okay. Now, these are all the clients for our IT companies. IT companies in the sales, we take Infosys, IBM, Accenture. These are all the typical clients. Now, the client is expecting the automation kind of thing, that related technologies only the IT companies has to deploy, has to adopt to provide the services to these particular companies. I mean to say, so for example, a finance company is going for automation by implementing the technology like fintech. Okay, fintech is coming like anything, booming like anything in the financial domain. To implement fintech, IoT is required, cloud is required, blockchain is required. It's a combination of so many things. Okay. So this is the requirement for the banks. So obviously the companies like Infosys and all, they will get the projects related to this. Once they get the projects, they need people who are having the hands-on experience on all these technologies. Okay. Obviously they require a hands-on experienced people on all these technologies. So in that context, first we talk about cloud. See, many of the people knows that there is a demand for the cloud, but very few knows that what to learn. Okay, what to learn, how to project themselves at the time of the interviews. Two things are there. If you may learn something, but the projection is very much important. Okay, unless or until you project properly at the time of interview, you won't be selected. So in my experience, the conversion rate is only 7%. Now, if 100 people attend for the interview, only 7 could crack the interview. 93 is the rejection rate. Why? It's not like that they don't know the subject. They don't know how to project themselves properly. Okay? To project themselves, what are the things are required? Communication, okay, like attitude, okay, knowledge and troubleshooting, okay. So many factors decides the interview. Okay. Now, when we talk about the cloud, normally I used to visit so many companies, corporates, colleges, and all. If I ask what is meant by cloud, many people used to say that to store the data. That is completely wrong statement. That is completely wrong perception. Cloud is not meant for only to store the data. Okay? It's not like that. But what is the fundamental definition of the cloud? Okay. That is nothing but the cloud provides on demand service. The cloud provides on demand service. On demand in the sense whenever you want a service, cloud will be in a position to provide you. That service could be a server, an application, a OS, a database, a firewall, a router, an ERP, so an IoT platform, whatever it may be, whatever you want, which comes under the IT gamut, under the IT umbrella, the cloud vendor should be in a position to provide. That is the actual definition of the cloud. Provide, sorry, the spelling mistake, it provides on demand service. On demand service. Okay. So in this context, that is one. Then why the importance of the cloud is growing day by day? That also we need to understand. See, the thing is, so far, for example, if we take Infosys, an electronic city, they have very big buildings, very big infrastructure is there. Inside that, they might have the servers, application servers, gateway devices like this and that. Okay, means they are going with the physical infrastructure. So many things are there. These are all the physical infrastructure. Okay. To maintain this particular physical infrastructure, the disadvantages are procuring the space, which is very costly in electronic city Bangalore. Rent. Then they have to provide the sophisticated cooling system. Again, it's very costly. 24 hours the air condition has to run. And they have to deploy the manpower to manage the servers, to manage this connectivity and everything. Okay. Again, cost is incurred in that. Okay. The most important thing is availability. For example, this is in Bangalore, this Infosys company. Okay. For example, a person is working from home. Nowadays, everybody is working from home now. He is in Cochin. He is directly connecting to this particular server. Now, because of some problem, due to heavy rain or natural calamity, this data center is not able to provide the operations. So it is down now. You can't assure that the physical data center will be available 24 hours, 365 days. Okay, n number of factors are there which may affect the availability of that particular data center. Then how you can access, how the customers can access, it's an issue. Okay. Another reason is flexibility. Physical infrastructure is not flexible in the sense, for example, this server right now, physically it is 64 GB RAM and running with 5 TB hard disk and installed with Windows 2016. Let's assume like that. So all of a sudden, one project has come. Immediately they have to install some application, but that requires almost 128 GB RAM. That application, sorry, 128 GB RAM. Then, for example, hard disk may be same, but it requires a high-end processor and it requires some Linux operating system, Red Hat Linux. This is the requirement. So immediately you have to filter. If it's in the physical environment, can you do that within seconds or minutes? You have to go to the stores and get the additional RAM and you have to configure that. Okay. Then if it is not available, first of all, the process is there. You have to get the permissions and that itself is a very big task. If this process is not compatible with 128 GB RAM, again you have to change the entire server. Okay. So it's not a 5-minute job. It may take 5 days or 50 days also. It's not flexible. So these are all the concerns, okay, when you manage the physical infrastructure like this, taking a building, putting all these things, managing like this, these are all the concerns. To overcome all these concerns, now everybody is feeling that cloud is the best solution. So how cloud works? How cloud works in this sense? For example, if you come here, so for example, this is the image of AWS data center in North Virginia. See this, the big godown kind of buildings are there, very big building. Okay. So inside that, this we call it as a data center. This is a data center, this is a data center. 3 data centers are there in North Virginia. If you come down within the data center, I mean inside the data center, these type of servers will be there. You see that? Very high-end servers. Okay. So first of all, they have these kind of data centers. For example, this is the North Virginia data center. They'll have big servers like this. Okay. Now, through internet, if I am the user, yeah, I am the user now. Okay. So I can access this particular portal. I can go here. I can click here. Okay, just I'm getting so many options like this: Amazon Linux, Mac OS, Apple Macintosh, like this. The thing is, so here is the user who is having an account. This is the user in Bangalore. From Bangalore, you can access this data center. Okay, and you can give the details, like how much RAM you want for a system and how much hard disk you require, what kind of OS you want. So if you provide all the details, okay, then in this server, some virtual system, virtual computer will be created, okay, with the required hardware and software configurations. Like this is running with 64 GB RAM. Okay. For example, if you have selected 100 GB hard disk, and if you have selected Linux operating system, everything will be configured. It will be readily available for you. Okay. Like that, you can create whatever you want there. For example, again, if you go here, if you go to the services, see they are providing this many types of services. Comes under compute, storage, and okay. And again, if you go here, if you go to this particular marketplace, see here AWS is having tie-up with all the companies like Barkuda, Juniper, Trend Micro, OpenVPN, Trend Micro, like this. You can observe here for infrastructure software, 2914 products are there. Okay. For blockchain, 58 products are there. For machine learning, 93 products are there. For IoT, this many products are there. For development, for monitoring, every product is available here. Okay. So then what are the advantages? What are the advantages of going for the cloud? Do we need space? No. We need to provide cooling system? No. That is not your burden. So you need manpower like system administrators and storage administrators? No, because they are taking care of everything. Okay. Availability? Yes. Because you can see here, you can observe here. If you come down here, this many data centers are there for AWS. See here, in US only they have 4 data centers. In Africa, Asia Pacific, in India, Mumbai, almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 20 data centers here across the globe. Fine. If something happens to North Virginia data center because of war, a terrorist attack, or something like that, everything will be replicated to another data center. From Sydney, it will be available. Okay. Or else from Mumbai, it will be available. So there is no point of worry which is related to the availability and flexibility. Flexibility. Absolute flexibility is there because, so for example, now I am going with, for example, I select this. Okay. Just I'm showing you. For example, here I am going to select 10 GB. If it's not sufficient for me, I can go to edit and I'll change it to 40 GB. That's it. So immediately upgradation or degradation is very much possible. So this is very much flexible. This is very much flexible. So by knowing all these particular factors, now the industry is willing to migrate their physical infrastructure into the virtual. This we call it as virtual. Okay. One question is there. One second. Is the data working like a RAID 5 setting? I mean, is the data center working like a RAID 5 setting? Abhishek, RAID 5 is related to the operating system, our hard disk redundancy. Okay. Data center means we use the virtualization technology. Virtualization in the sense, Mr. Abhishek is asking me, is it like RAID 5? See here, for example, if you have a server, physical server at your office, 64 GB RAM and 5 TB hard disk. Okay, it's only one server physically. But if you apply the virtualization software, for example, VMware ESXi, okay. So with this hypervisor, what you can do is you can create the multiple virtual machines like this. I mean to say, for this particular first virtual machine, based on your requirement, 20 GB RAM will be allocated and 1 TB hard disk will be allocated. And this physically it acts as a completely a different server. Like this will also act as a completely different server. This also act as a completely different server. So physically it is one, but virtually it is 3 servers. This you can do if you have a server with the help of the VMware ESXi or Citrix Zen server. So here also they are applying the same technology in cloud also. They will have in their data center a very big servers like this with very high-end configuration, which are all installed or configured with the Citrix. Amazon is using the Citrix actually, Citrix Zen server. So whenever the request comes from the client means user, to this hypervisor is nothing but the VMware software. Based upon their request, it creates a virtual machines or servers or gateway devices like routers and all. Virtually, everything is virtual. It's not like a physical router will be there. It's a virtual. Okay, like that they are able to provide that. So the basic technology they are using is nothing but virtualization. Underlying technology. That is underlying technology. Okay. Let me 1 second. Yeah. Now, yeah, where are we now? Like that, the companies can go for the cost saving. And availability will be there, everything will be there. That's the reason many companies are willing to shift over into the cloud. Now, but the problem is that this thing you have to understand, but the problem is there will be different activities. Migration means, for example, if the company is having this kind of setup, like the servers and all, so some team is very much required to migrate this into the virtual environment, that we call it as migration. Another one is maintenance. So once it is migrated, somebody is very much required to maintain them. I mean, whether the users are able to access that, the patch updations are being done, the backup is taken care of, any troubleshooting is required, like that. So people are there for this activity, people are required for maintenance activity, people are required for deployment activity. So many things. Okay. But what kind of skill set they should have? That's the important point. Many people think that directly we can join for AWS course. Okay. Then we will become the cloud professional. Again, it's a wrong perception. Why? Why it is a wrong perception? The moment you join for a cloud course, okay, everybody will start with this interface. First, you will get into this interface. They'll start from the first class like this. And they will go through this interface. I am also going through launch instances. I am clicking here. I select next like this. But the knowledge on that particular aspect alone is not sufficient. You should have the conceptual knowledge also. I mean to say what we are exactly doing, why we are doing, what's the purpose of that, okay? The purpose and everything you should know. Okay. Otherwise, you can't troubleshoot and you can't handle that particular cloud properly. Okay. So to become a cloud professional, there is a learning path is there. Learning path is there. First of all, the candidate should be equipped with the Linux OS. I'll tell you the reason. Second, they should be familiar with the networking concepts. Networking concepts you should know. I mean to say what is IP address, what is subnetting, not theoretically, practically. How to implement DHCP, how to implement DNS, how to implement NAT, what is routing, like that. Not CCNA kind of thing. Not a product specific kind of thing. General idea, conceptual idea, networking concepts is very much required. Then you can take up AWS or Azure, whatever it is. But as of now, AWS is having good demand. Both are having equal demand, but slight edge is there over Azure. Azure also becoming a good competitor for AWS. Okay. So again, networking concepts means you should be with IP addressing, subnetting, routing, NAT, DNS, DHCP, VPN, and some other things. You should have the proper knowledge on all this. Unless or until you have proper knowledge on this, very difficult to manage the things in the cloud. You can't understand conceptually what is happening behind it. And why Linux OS is important is, I'll tell you. In cloud platform, to run the virtual machines, normally we go with Linux operating system, preferably, because in the enterprise level, in the production environment, means in the real-time scenario, okay, in the cloud, normally we go with Linux OS, okay, and whatever the applications we are going to install, we install on Linux. Okay. So obviously, and one more thing. So before getting into that, I will show you one thing. For example, then I will talk about automation in the cloud, then only you can understand. For example, right now I am having a laptop. This is my laptop. This is running with Windows 10 OS. Now I need a system with Linux operating system because I want to practice something like a DevOps kind of thing. For that, I need a Linux based machine. What's the solution? Either I can go for dual booting, but it won't serve the purpose. Now I want Windows 10 also. Simultaneously, I want to work. So simultaneously, I want to work means either I have to buy a new laptop like this and install Windows Linux. Sorry, Linux. Instead of that, in the cloud, I can deploy a virtual machine with Linux. And simultaneously, I can use this. Okay. So I can use this and I can use this also by accessing from here. This is my requirement. So for that, let me do this. Let me create the virtual machine of Linux. Fine. Now, first I'll go to the services. Because this is a demo class, I can't get into micro details of cloud for this class. Okay. Just I will explain as much as possible. Okay. Click on instances. Then click on launch instances. Then here Amazon Linux is there. This is the flavor of Amazon. Red Hat also there. SUSE also there. Ubuntu also there. Windows also there. So many are there. Let me select this operating system. Okay. Amazon Linux. Then here you can select the hardware. See, this is one CPU. If you come down, multiple 96 CPUs also there. You can imagine the performance. And RAM from 0.52, if you go down, okay, the RAM may go up to 768 GB RAM also. Okay, so variety of things are available, but since ours is a free account, let me go through the minimum thing. Okay, I am going hardware. I am going to select one CPU, virtual CPU, 1 GB memory. Then I'll go to the configure instance detail. These things, it's a lot of discussion is required. Let me skip this. See here, it is 8 GB. The hard disk space is 8 GB. Let me select the 10 GB. Whatever you want, even 100 GB also you can select, but let me go with the 10 GB. Okay. Now go to add tags. Not required. The security group is very much important. Now, Once you create this particular VM here, you may upload very confidential data into this, very confidential and personal data. So security is very much important. Security is very much important. Okay. How to make it secure? How to make it secure? For that, we have to go with some practices or methodologies. One is simply just if you put username and password, it will not be that much secure. If we depend on only on username and password, so for example, if I am configured, if my friend is able to know about the username and password, he can access. Okay. If I store in my mobile, if somebody is able to see that, they also can access. Right? You can't say that is properly secure. For that, what we do is, first of all, to access this, to access from my laptop to this virtual machine, we need to enable a protocol called SSH. We used to call it as a secured shell. We call it as secured shell. So whatever the credentials you give, okay, it provides a secured channel. Okay, I mean to say, if you give your username and something like that, it will be encrypted. It won't be sent in the clear text format. That is one aspect. Another important aspect is, at the time of creating this VM, one public key will be generated. The related private key will be downloaded into our laptop. I repeat, at the time of creating this particular virtual machine, one public key will be generated. It will be with the AWS. The related private key will be downloaded into my laptop. Okay. Thereafter, if at any point of time, if I want to access that, I must use this private key. Then if it is matches, I mean to say, if this private key matches with the public key, then only access will be allowed. Now, the person who is having this private key only can access this. It's not dependent on the username and password. If it is username and password, somehow you may get that information, or blindly you can try also with the different combinations to break the password. To break the password, you can try with the different combinations. But here it's not possible. Because you should have that private key. If you share that private key, nobody can do anything. Okay. Now I'll show you how to do that. Now SSH is there. If it is not there, you can add root and you can select that. Okay. HTTP is there. So many protocols are there. Whatever the service you want, you can do. So as of now, SSH, let me put anywhere. The port number of SSH is 22. Then I'll go to review and launch. Now I told you, no, this is very important factor in the cloud. Okay. Now it is asking for select an existing key pair or create a new key pair. Why you are using the name pair? Pair means two keys. Pair of clothes we used to call, no? Two keys. One is private, another one is public. Okay. Now we have to generate or create the private key for us. The respective public key will be with AWS. And these two things should match. Okay. I mean, private key, public key will be there. Here private key will be there. Already I told you. Okay. So let me do one thing. I'll go here. Create a new key pair. I name it as IPSR key. Download key pair. You can observe that it is downloading into my laptop. Okay. Now we'll go forward. Launch instances. Come down. View instances. See, now it is going to launch. It means a virtual machine is going to configure with the Linux operating system. But the status should come 2 by 2 checks. It is in the pending state. It takes a couple of minutes time. In the meantime, let us discuss this, how to create the private key. To create the private key, we require a tool called PuTTY Keygen. PuTTY Keygen is used to generate the key. The name itself, it is the key generator. Okay. That can be, you can download from the Google, that one. For example, if I go here, if I type, it is already downloaded into my laptop. You can see here it is PuTTY. If I click here, this tool will come. PuTTY key generator. Now, I have downloaded IPSR key.pem. This is a file actually. Using this file, I can create a private key. PEM is the file which I have downloaded from AWS. Using that, I am going to create a private key. Got it? Fine. Now, what I have to do is, I will load that the PEM file which I have downloaded to be in the downloads. Okay. If you come here, all files, downloads, IPSR key.pem. Open. See here, this is all the junk data. This is the key action. Okay. Now you have to save it as the private key. Here two options are there, public key and private key. I am going to save this as the private key because already I told you we require a private key. The public key will be automatically be there with the AWS. No need to bother about it. Save private key. Yes. Now I can save it on the desktop. I am going to save it. IPSR key.ppk. See here, when you are saving it as the private key, the extension must be ppk. Then only it saves as the private key. The extensions must be .ppk. Clear? That's the reason I am going to give it here. Sorry, where is it? Save. Okay. Let me check. If I go to the desktop, it is here. This is the symbol of the private key. It will be with a hat symbol. This is our private key. Remember, at any point of time, you should not share this private key with anybody. If you share that, okay, nobody can save our resources. Anybody can access. Anybody can access. So this is your unique credential in the cloud. Okay. Now go here. Let us check the status. I told you now it is running now. 2x2 checks is there. Now how to access that? This is running in Singapore. Because I have selected the Singapore data center, it is running in Singapore. Now I am in Bangalore. I want to access that and I want to install something in that. I want to just create a folder on my name. How to do that? To do that, see here, public IP and private IP are there. Okay, this you need to understand. See, this is our virtual machine, which is created in Singapore, in the data center. In this data center, it is created. For that, 2 IP addresses are there. 2. Normally, every system will have only 1 IP. I'll tell you the reason. One is this one. Another one is this one. This I call it as private IP. I think you may know about public IP and private IP. Public IP very much required for the internet access. If you have private IP, you can't access the internet. Anyway, I cannot get into the discussion actually. So, because this is the actual IP of that particular server, 172.31.29.19, that is the private IP. But with that private IP, you can't access from the internet. In internet, private IPs are not allowed. That's the reason. So virtual public IP also assigned for that. So what I have to do is, I have to copy that public IP and I need another tool to access. That is PuTTY. Remember, PuTTY keygen is to create a key. PuTTY is to access. Don't get confused between these two. To access the cloud. Clear? Okay. Now what I am going to do is I will open PuTTY. Here I have to copy that IP address. This is the public IP of that virtual machine which I have configured in the AWS. Okay. Then I have to use my private key. For that, I will click on SSH. I click on authentication. I click on browse. Okay. Here I select the IPSR. This one. So I have selected the key. So what are the two things I have done? I have taken that IP address and I have selected my private key. Then I click on open. Yes. Yeah. EC2 hyphen user is the command. See, now I am in Linux environment. This is the Linux machine. So whatever I want, I can do as if it is in my room or with me. Okay, so I can go to sudo su, I can access a super user. So mkdir prasad, I can create a folder. Okay, so ls, it is there, or I can go to m update -y, something like that. Okay, I mean, whatever I can do, I can go for the installation of packages and everything, right? So this is the advantage of the cloud actually. Now, for example, I want this Linux operating system only for 10 hours. After that, I don't want. I can pay rent only for 10 hours. If I want it for 1 month, I can pay rent for 1 month. If I require for 1 year, I can pay rent for 1 year. Means whenever I want, I can use, I can give the rent and I can close my account. If you buy a system, if you buy a computer, even if work is not there or not there, it will be there. For example, if you spend 30,000 for a desktop, after 2 months you don't need the desktop, but what you will do with that? You may have to sell with the half price. 15,000 is loss for you, no? But here, that is the advantage of the cloud actually. Then now you can understand that. So the importance of the operating system. Now, example. For example, you are working for a company. This is TCS. So you are in the cloud team. There is a client for TCS, Toyota. So Toyota is having the manufacturing plant in Bangalore. See, the requirement is for Toyota, TCS has to deploy 10,000 virtual machines, 10,000 VMs. Okay, and in that 5,000 VMs need to be configured as the with MySQL. MySQL is the database, I believe. And you have to configure 100 routers. Just this is the example. If you go like this, one by one step, which I have shown you, how much time it will take to launch 10,000 VMs and how many people need to work. How many people need to work? Okay. So it's possible, but time taken process. That's the reason in cloud, we go with automation. Means if you apply that particular automation, automatically at a time 10,000 VMs will be created. Okay. So when you go for the big companies like this, obviously they will ask you to work with automation on cloud. That is the exact requirement. So for that, you need to know about Docker. You need to know about Terraform because these are all used for automation, like Chef, okay, like Jenkins, okay. So again, all these automation tools run on Linux. They don't run on Windows, they'll run on Linux. Compatibility is there with the Linux. Okay. So I mean to say, getting proficiency in Linux is very important. and networking also important. Okay, because Linux plays the crucial role in terms of launching the services and in terms of automation also. To go further into that another thing is their cloud formation is there. Formation also there. Okay. Now let us launch another machine with Windows. Now we'll do one thing. We'll take one assignment and let me do that. Okay. Now we have a company. Let us assume that we have a company. For this company, we want a website like www.xyz.com. Now, our plan is in cloud, we want to deploy this web server. So web server will be in the cloud. So how we have to do? First of all, in cloud, I have to create a virtual machine. In that, for example, if I am talking about Windows, because Linux already we have seen that example, I have to install the Windows Server operating system like Windows 2019 server. So server OS. On top of that, I will configure Internet Information Server. On top of that, I will host a web page. Okay. So if you want to do all this in the real time, to buy the storage, it will take 1 hour time for you. And to configure this web server, it may take 1 hour for you. And again, to write the web page in the HTML, upload half a day or 1 day work it will be. But the same thing we can do within the 10 minutes, all this. Just I can launch a web page. You also can access from your smartphone. I also can access from the laptop. Okay. So this is the task. Okay. Let me try this. First of all, what I have to do, I have to launch Windows 2019 Server Operating System. Okay, let me get into this. Launch instances. I'll select. We need to select the operating system. I have selected this. Configure instance details. Add storage. 30 GB by default it is taking, let it be. Add tags. Configure security group. Because if it is Linux, you can use SSH. If it is Windows, you have to use Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP. That is Microsoft Proprietary Protocol, Remote Desktop Protocol for the access. Okay, that's the reason I've selected this. Review on launch. Launch. It is asking for the key. Create a new key pair. IPSR web. I'll give like this. Download the key pair. Launch instances. View instances. Now it's going to launch. It is in the pending state. Just within a couple of minutes, it will make up. Okay. Now we have to observe one thing, how flexible it is. No need to bother about the licenses of that particular operating system. If the cloud facility is not there, for this you have to purchase the license. And this installation, if you do in our laptop, in a particular machine, minimum it will take 1 hour. Which one? The installation of Windows 2019 server itself takes 1 hour time. Okay. So You can save the time. You can save other headaches also. Okay. So that's the reason. That's the reason so many people are preferring the cloud nowadays, because that kind of flexibility is there, ease of operations is there. Okay. So we have to refresh this. It is initializing. See, the time taken for the Linux hardly 3 minutes, but for Windows it's a graphical interface. No? It takes couple of minutes time. Right. So like load balancers are also there. Like so, if you are aiming to learn the cloud, you should be familiar with all this compute. The things comes under storage, things comes under database, migration, transfer, and all. Okay. Fine. Now let's see the status of our survey. Yeah. Now this is also up. Okay. Now how to connect this? There is a difference between Linux and this one, Windows. This is directly, you can go here, connect, select RTP client. Okay, download remote desktop file. So first of all, you have to download this RTP file. Then you have to generate a password. But again, that password is based on the PEM file which you have downloaded. Okay, I mean to say, using the PEM file, you can generate the password. How we can do that? So how you can do that? Get password, browse, go to the downloads, IPSR web PEM, click on this. Then you will get this key. This is the private key. It is showing that it is the private key. This is the key. If you decrypt that, this password will be generated. Copy that password. Now open this RTP. Yeah, here you paste that particular password. So now I am entering into the Windows 2019 server. I told you now, in the physical environment, if you want to configure that itself takes 1 hour time. Now hardly how much time it has taken? Hardly 5 minutes, that's it. Now that server is up with operating system with all the features and it is running now. Okay. This one. Okay. Now I want to create a web page in this. I want to create a web page. For that, let me get into the server manager. You may not be familiar with this because this comes under the Windows Server Administration. Those who are having knowledge on server administration, they only can understand this. But just I want to demonstrate it for you. Okay. So first of all, I have to configure the web service on top of this. See, in general, if you want to host the website, first of all, what you have to do is, first step is install a OS, Windows. For example, if it is on Windows, install OS. In that, configure web server, because website can be hosted in the web server. In that, put website. So if it is Windows, the web server name is IIS, Internet Information Server. If it is Linux, it is Apache. This is also web server. Okay. Now what I am trying to do, I am trying to configure a web server. For that, I'll go next. So I can't explain all these options now because time is up. Here you have to select the web server, IIS, add features. Go to next, and install it. Now I'm installing the web server because web server only can contain the website. Takes couple of seconds. Then I can configure a web server in it. So first I have launched a EC2 instance or virtual machine or whatever it will be with Windows 2019 server operating system, because websites and all you can't configure on the client operating system like Windows 10 or in like CentOS kind of thing. Okay, so it must be a server operating system. Because 2019 is a server operating system, I have selected that. On top of that, now I am installing the web server. So by default, the HTTP will be installed. HTTP service, HTTP put get methods will be installed into it. Okay. Now it is up, close. Now I'll go to the C drive. So I'll expand the C drive. So this is the folder, web server folder, inetpub, expand it, www-root, expand it. Here I will create a web page. See, hello, this is Alex. This is what I put X, Y, Z. company web page. Just I type like that. I'm not giving any HTML code. I will save it as index. You have to save it as index.html. Then only it will take it as the web page. See here, the Explorer symbol has come. Okay, I will delete the rest of the things to avoid the confusion. Delete. Now, I have hosted the website. Can I access? Let me try. Let me try. To access that, so this is the IP address or DNS name. I'll take IP address and I go to the browser and I'll give, but it won't access. The web page is not coming. There is a reason. The reason is I have hosted a website, but I have to permit the HTTP traffic to here. Already I told you, no? Already I told you that unless or until we, one second. You have not allowed the HTTP traffic. That's the reason it's not accessing, because web page will be accessed with the help of HTTP. For that, what I have to do, this is the troubleshooting kind of thing. If the problem comes, unless or until you know what is HTTP and how to configure that, you can't do anything. For that, what we have to do is, we have to go to that security group. Okay. One second. This is 25. Okay. So I need to go to that security group. So here I'll edit. Only RDP is there. I'll add HTTP. Okay. Then I will save this. Give me a second. Okay. Save routes. Okay. Now let me try. So I'm getting this page. So you also just try with IP address. Type in your browser 18.141.207.4 and let me know from your mobiles or from your laptops also. Let me know that you are getting this web page. 18.141.207.4. Control C. To everyone. Can you confirm in the chat that you are able to access or not? Anybody? Yes or no? Use that IP address. Okay. So how much time it has taken for us, right? So if you are good in HTML or something like just 4 to 5 web pages you can create, just you can launch in the server. So everything hardly takes 15 minutes of time. Can you expect the same in the physical environment? Absolutely not. Not at all possible. So much of procedure is there. Okay. So very fast. It is very fast in cloud to launch any kind of thing. Okay. So that is the main reason that enterprises are looking towards this particular thing. Okay. Now, give me a second. Give me a second, please. See here. So these are all the different career opportunities are there. Cloud consultant, cloud reliability engineer, infrastructure engineer, security architect, cloud architect, DevOps cloud. This automation I told you, like Docker and all that comes under DevOps. Okay. Then the top cloud vendors, Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, that is AWS, Google Cloud, Alibaba is there, IBM is there, Oracle, Salesforce, SAP, Rackspace, and VMware. But out of this, 80% of the market has been captured by the Azure and AWS. That's the reason. And Salesforce also there, but that is for the developers, exclusively for the developers. Okay. For Linux professionals, you can become a system administration, network administrator, technical support, web server administrator, Perl and Python developers, Ruby on Rails, device drivers. You have opportunities in all these verticals. Okay, if you are good in Linux. Okay. See this top 10 employers with cloud computing related positions, open source. So EMC Corporation, Amazon.com, Salesforce.com, VMware, Verizon, CyberCodes, okay, Akamai, Microsoft, like this. Okay. So these are all with respect to the career opportunities. Now let us talk about the realities. Once again, I am telling you, you should have strong foundation in Linux and networking. This is one point. Please remember, directly, if you jump into that AWS environment, nothing will work out. Second important point is, you should understand the real-time scenarios. Just I have shown you how you can configure the website, but in the real time, what is the expectation of the client and the company? It has to be, you have to get that kind of knowledge on the real-time scenarios. And you should undergo some case studies also. And troubleshooting knowledge also very much important. Okay, then integration. How you can integrate our web server or our database server with the cloud. How we can integrate our app server with the cloud, that we call it as integration. Then knowledge on migration. So knowing all these things is very much important. That is, I call it as a learning curve. But unfortunately, many people are directly getting into this and just they'll go through this particular interface. That's it. And they feel that they know cloud. No. So with that knowledge, it's very difficult to crack the interview, guys. It's very difficult to crack the interviews. And finally, automation also requires knowledge on automation. Okay. See, because we are industry experts, we know the requirement of the industry. That's the reason we ask the students to undergo this particular track, Linux. Okay, sorry, not this one. Okay. So we have carefully cooked up the things. Okay. So industry experts also involved in this particular activity, in the sense the training, to give assistance for you on a project, then giving real-time scenarios, whatever we are doing in the industry. Okay. Then interview preparation, this is very much important. What kind of questions you will get. Okay. Then resume preparation, this is also very important because you have to properly put the keywords in that. What are those keywords? Very important. Okay. And you have to undergo the mock interviews. So if you are able to prepare like this, lot of scope is there. As a fresher also scope is there. As an experienced person also scope is there. Okay. Even if you are working for a system like a system admin, because right now if you are working as a system admin, or if you are into tech support, it is very good opportunity for you to get into the cloud domain. This is the right time actually. Or if you are coming from if you don't have any kind of background also, no problem. Okay. You can learn from the scratch, right? In Bangalore, for example, if you take Infosys, their requirement is 2,500 cloud professionals they require because they got very good projects. And every weekend, they're conducting walk-in interviews. But you believe me or not, out of 100, they could pick only one, maximum or two. Because of lacking of knowledge, they will undergo that course within 30 hours or something like that, and they came without any basic knowledge, conceptual knowledge, real-time exposure, and they'll think that I'm a cloud. If they ask a particular question, okay, they could not give answer. That's the reason rejection rate is more. Rejection rate is more. Okay. So I think I have given the required inputs, but I like, not only me, any speaker likes the interaction. Okay. Now, if this is your turn, you can unmute yourself, any one of you. You can talk to me for anything related to technical or non-technical, related to your career. Any question you can ask me. Anything you can ask me. Or if you're not willing to talk, you can chat. I will give the reply. Please let us go with some interactive session. Okay. Yeah. Any one of you